Alrighty. Hello. We are live. Ready to chat with you guys about Allschool and teaching and all the good stuff. So if you see me switching between two screens, it's because we're on YouTube and on Instagram. So first time for everything, but thought it was time to try both. Maybe I'll move you guys up here so we're not so back and forthy. There we go. All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the Allschool video that went up yesterday. Felt nice to be able to share. I always like watching people's financial videos. Just seeing like, hey, what's really in your weekly statement? Seeing pulling back the curtain a little bit. So that was the idea behind yesterday's video. And if you haven't gotten to watch it yet, head on over there at Melissa's Teaching. That's the YouTube channel. And if you're watching on YouTube, hey, hit subscribe too. I have got some great stuff coming up in the next few weeks. If you hear construction noises in the background, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's what's happening. In the next couple weeks, we've got, oh my goodness, we've got all the webinars. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Vay. Vay Live, Vay_Live is their Instagram and YouTube. Check them out. They are supporting these webinars. They want to bring value to the edupreneur community. And it's a wonderful way for you guys to get all the tools that you need for being a teacherpreneur in one place. And the great part is it's free indefinitely. There's no limit on the free plan. So that's the cool part. If you haven't checked out Vay, head to the link in my bio and in the description of this video on YouTube and see what's up there because they've got some really great tools. And if you use that link, I believe you get $20 when you host your first session. So really great. Anyway, those webinars are supported by Vay, but they have said, hey, invite people, talk to people, bring value to this teacherpreneur community because the idea behind this is to then set teachers up for success. And so I have invited some people that I am so excited to get to talk to you guys. First, we're starting off on January 24th, Tuesday, January 24th, 7 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to be talking to James Liu, who is head of BOI Strategy, and he is just one of the most interesting and smartest people that I've gotten to talk to in this space. He's got so much business background, education to support what he's talking about. And so I would love for you to check out that webinar. We're going to be talking about niche teaching, which is really exciting. After that, the week after that, January 31st, I wanted to squeeze this in for you guys because teacher taxes for teachers. That's right. You may be cringing with me, but that is the next one on January 31st before tax season really kicks into swing, but after you should have gotten a lot of your forms. If you're investing or from your banks, you should be set to get started then. So check that one out. All of these are in the link in my bio if you're on Instagram, and if you're on YouTube, they are going to be in the link in this description. So check those out. You can register there. They're free. Quick and easy, 30 to 45 minutes if we go over. But the idea here is that they would be very useful for you. And so we've got James Liu on the 24th. 31st is taxes. Then getting into February, I'm hanging out with Abby from Teaching Together. She and I are going to talk about, being moms. We're moms. Some of you guys are moms, parents, just busy people in general. You don't have to be a parent to be busy. We know that. And the idea here is that minute-to-minute teaching, there's a place for that. That's good. But that's not everything, especially if you want to scale your business. And so she and I are going to dive deeper into what it looks like to make passive income and kind of get more for your time in terms of maybe designing some things, putting them on Teachers Pay Teachers, perhaps working with other companies with affiliate marketing or recruiting, that sort of thing. So check that out too. Then a meeting with Sammy Bohannon of Bohannon Virtual Solutions. She and I are going to talk about, kind of pull back the curtain again. This is something that I didn't know much about, but the idea of a virtual assistant. what can I do for you? I'll be completely transparent. I don't have a virtual assistant. I do things on my own, but I'm very curious about what could be done with a virtual assistant. And so in the future. So I was really excited to get to talk to Sammy, and I hope you guys will join us for that one. And then we're getting into the end of February into March. And so we're going to look at mindset. When I met with Steffi, she also works with James Liu on BOI strategy. Guys, I walked away from that initial, just, hey, let's meet up. And I was like, what in the world? I am so inspired. So one of those things where I really hope that you'll come to that one. It's in March. It's way far away. But if you'll come to that one, I think you will walk away with something on paper. We're going to ask you to come and use a form that we've got for you. And we're going to kind of set you up to walk away from that webinar with goals, with tangible action steps. So I'm really excited for you guys to join on that one. So very exciting stuff. And in terms of Allschool, I want to know if you guys have questions. So holler in the chat if you've got questions so that we can answer them. But I'll give you a rundown of kind of where it's been and where we're going. So the idea here is Allschool started back in November of 2021. I was there on day one. I'm one of the founding teachers. And so it's been really cool to watch it transform. And as I point out in the video that went up yesterday on YouTube, the idea is it's very similar to Outschool, except it's based in Singapore. So you're going to have an Asian audience for the most part there. However, they do have some students. I've had students from different parts of Europe and different parts of North America as well. So you want to kind of make sure you've got that in mind. ESL kind of reigns on Allschool. And so I personally teach a show and tell public speaking class there. And I've got one-on-one English tutoring there. And so those are the two classes I teach. As I point out in the video, I don't teach that much on Allschool. It only makes up about 1/6 of my income. Okay, 1/6 of my teaching time is spent there. And so that is something to keep in mind too. I pointed out in the video that it's good to be diversified. I am diversified. I work in various places. I work with Braintrain. I work with Allschool. I do my own private tutoring. And I work with some other companies as well, just telling teachers about awesome products. And I do tell other teachers about those products because I use them myself and I like them. And I am kind of the queen of free over here. I'm pretty cheap, I'm not going to lie. And so the idea that I would even spend money on one of those products is saying a lot. So that's the idea. And Allschool has its place, and it can be a really good way to diversify your teaching schedule. I've talked about this in other YouTube videos. So if you haven't seen other YouTube videos, go check those out. Subscribe. More is coming. Those webinars that I mentioned at the beginning are going to be on YouTube soon once they're finished. But if you attend, you'll get some little pros, some little gifts from the presenters, which is really cool. But if you do come to those webinars, you'll be able to ask those questions, get those personal doubts cleared up. And so the idea is that you would show up there. Now, back to Allschool. With Allschool, when you're diversifying your teaching schedule, you have parts of your day, right? Depending on where you live. I happen to live in Eastern Standard Time. And if that's where you are, my early mornings are great for Asian primetime teaching. Okay, so mornings, Asian ESL type classes. Then afternoons are great for, North American after school or Western Hemisphere after school students, and evenings as well, after school activities, that sort of thing. And so the idea is that you would optimize what you're teaching at the time when students are available, right? Makes sense. You're not going to teach ESL at 2 a.m. Beijing time. Don't do it. Figure out what is going to earn you the most at the time that you're teaching. Okay, optimize your diversified teaching schedule, and then figure out what you're good at. Again, this is going to come up in one of those webinars. The first one with James Liu is niche teaching. And so finding your niche you're not going to hire a general practitioner to do your brain surgery, right? A specialized niche is going to allow you to charge more and do a better job at what you're meeting your students, where you're meeting your students' need. If they have a need for test prep, if they have a need for conversation, if they have a need for business English, and you can meet that niche, wow, that's where you're going to be able to really charge what you're worth and also make sure you're meeting the needs of your students. So that's the idea. Now, I see some of you guys here. If you're here, leave a little comment in there. Let me know where you're from, where you're teaching, what you're teaching. Would love to know what you guys are teaching and what you're interested in. If you're here for Allschool, is Allschool worth it? It's a good question. I think it is, because it has a place in my diversified teaching schedule. Does it have its faults like every teaching platform? Absolutely. Recently, as a startup, they started out with a very low teaching platform fee, 10% for ClassPod, which is their teaching platform, kind of similar to Zoom. And then if you're using Zoom, it was 15%. Now that's jumped up to 20% if you're teaching with ClassPod and 25% if you're teaching with Zoom. So a sizable jump, however, still less than outschool, which is 30%. So something to keep in mind if you're already an outschool teacher, you could diversify, take that early morning slot and put it on on Allschool and really optimize it for the Asian market. It's a way to kind of set up your day so that you're making the most money as possible, as much money as possible at different times of the day when you're when your target market is ready for class. So if you've got questions, holler in the chat and would love to hear about those questions. Otherwise, I would love to just continue chatting a little bit about Allschool. Again, I mentioned I teach two. Oh, cool. Hi, Hamza from Morocco. I'm going to embarrass myself. I took a semester of Arabic in college. So assalam, I believe is hello, but I have completely forgotten. So hey, Hamza, and where to get started as a no experience English teacher. So depending on the first question, somebody's always going to ask you if you ask that is, where are you from? And you already mentioned that you're from Morocco. So the idea here is that a lot of companies will limit their applicants based on where their passport is from, basically. Unfortunately, that's the situation in this industry at this moment. And so I would say look at places like Preply and Cambly. Cambly is a great way to get started, get a lot of experience with teaching. I was with Cambly for a little bit after the whole Chinese double reduction policy deal. And it was like getting experience from a fire hose. And so the idea here is that you are taking calls, and sometimes they are for a certain amount of time if you're teaching kids. And sometimes if they're with adults, they're a certain amount of time or just kind of random. They're 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So it's a really good way to get experience and kind of learn what might be helpful online. And the payment is not as great as you would hope, probably. But again, starting out, that's a really good place to start. But the idea is the gold standard is to always move toward private teaching. And so you're going to get to keep more of the money that you make, basically. You set the price, you set the topic. Again, niche teaching is the idea because you're going to choose what you're going to teach and you'll be able to charge what you would like to earn. So I use Vay for my own personal coaching. I also am able to invoice on Stripe and Alipay, things like that. And so the idea is to use that in order to teach my own students that I've gotten. You can do that through Xiaohongshu. My friends at Create and Funnel, shout out to Kinga and Chris at Create and Funnel. You can follow them on Instagram. They are a dynamic duo educating the world about how to use Xiaohongshu, which is basically Chinese Instagram, Chinese Pinterest, that sort of thing, Chinese social media to get your own students. So a really great place to start out if you're looking to get into that market or market locally. Use whatever social media you have and start there. So there's a lot more there that we could uncover, but that's the basic part. We've got Sophia from Argentina. Buenas, Sophia. I actually am also in South America. I live in Ecuador. So buenas. Let's see, Sophia, this year you want to start teaching online. That's awesome. So I would say find what you want to teach So sorry if you can hear that. Goodness. Find what you want to teach. Figure out what you need to make. If this is your income, make sure you have a number in mind. I have a number in mind, and I say no to anything that's under that number because I know I'm not going to be happy later on. So I think that's something that when you come to, once you find some peace with that number and you're able to then, act on it, find a place that you can charge that, find a platform, use something like Vay in order to, it's free. Vay is free. So check that out. I'll link it here in my bio. There's a link where you can get $20 cash when you teach your first course on there. So check that out if you're at all interested. But the idea is Vay provides a way to invoice, communicate, meet, and schedule, get everything integrated with Google Calendar and stuff like that. Put it all at one place. It's amazing. And it's free. Again, there's limits, but it's free. And so you can really get started there. And if it's working, you can upgrade. But the idea is that everything is all in one place and it makes things easier for teachers. Cool. So Sophia, holler if that was helpful. Let me know if I can clarify anymore, but that sounds really cool. Awesome. So Hamza also took CELTA, but was not trained in how to teach one-on-one classes. Yeah. So that is, my teacher coaching company, it's not a formula. It's not something you can script. You can have a plan all you want, but my favorite, I don't know, metaphor perhaps, which is not for everyone, but my teacher trainer, one of my college professors, Wendy Amato, who I hope to be able to bring on a YouTube live soon, mentioned this. She said, I could give you the lesson plans, but it's going to be like us wearing the same size underwear. It's just not the same. I'm going to give you my pair of underwear, but it's just like, it's not the same. So when you have your own lesson plans and you create them and you know what your idea is, it's different. So one-on-one takes time. And that's where Cambly would be nice to just get some hours under your belt, but also just having some experience. I know people who have made free courses on Vay, opened it up for free. Send that link out into whatever social media options that you have and invite people. Hey, it's an English conversation course. Hey, it's a holiday related course. Hey, it's a springtime related course. That sort of thing. And invite people in, get some experience, see what you feel in those classes, see if you like it. And then perhaps from those free group classes, you'll get some leads. You'll get some one-on-one possibilities that you could then convert into one-on-one private students, therefore charging what you would like to make, keeping in mind where students are from. That also makes a difference in what they'll be able to pay usually. But there's a lot of factors that go into it, but I would say just get started, take the first step. And again, tools like Vay are wonderful. Figuring out how to use something like Stripe to invoice your students is great, and you can scale from there. But things like Cambly, Preply, again, I teach on Allschool and I teach with BrainTrain, and the idea is those are a little bit more limited because they have passport limitations, which is probably the ugly side of online teaching right now in this industry. And so there are lots of people that are much better qualified to teach, to talk on that than me. But the idea is that you would then teach only if you have a US, Canadian, Australian, British, Irish, or New Zealand passport. And so if you have one of those, great, try those platforms. But if not, I would say, get started on Cambly, Preply, and then move to one-on-one. From experience, my own kids, I am a homeschooling mom of 4 kids. Our kids are bilingual already. They speak English and Spanish, but we have them take French on Preply. So I know and love Preply well, and we've had a great experience with teachers there. So a good option. As far as the free conversation class, that would be Vay. If you go to the link you're on Instagram, Hamza. So if you go to the link in my bio, you'll see get started on Vay. Click that link and that'll get you that $20 cash thing. It also helps me out, but it'll get you started then on Vay in order to create your course, schedule it, invoice for it, but then you need to do the marketing. This is important. Some people have missed this point. Vay is not an education marketplace. It is a tool for teachers. You have to do the marketing. So you need to figure out if you're going to use your existing social media channels, you're going to email it out to people you know, friends and family. Hey, could you please let people know that I'm teaching this? I do that sometimes. I do that from time to time. And I have people say, oh yeah, great. I was looking for this. I know a group of people who were looking for low cost classes just to practice, that sort of thing. So that would be something to try as well. Cool. All right, more questions. Love it. So we've had people who are starting from zero, people who have maybe, I guess, Sophia, I'm not sure if you already have experience, but if you would like to ask more questions, now's the time. We're going to wrap this guy up in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So we need to get those questions out there if that's what you would like to do, but I'm here for you. So again, just to recap, in the next couple of weeks, we've got these webinars that are going to be on niche teaching, on taxes for teachers. It's mostly in the United States. So if you're outside the US, disregard that one. Virtual assistant, if a virtual assistant would be something that would be helpful for you. We've got scaling your business as a teacher mom or busy person in general. And then the final one, which I'm so excited for, which is just really applicable to all of us, I think, is mindset, gaps, goals, and kind of action steps to take. And so I'm excited for you guys to join me on those. Again, those are all linked in my bio. And if you have not checked out the video on Allschool yesterday, please check it out. It's on my YouTube channel at Melissa's Teaching. Subscribe while you're there so that you don't miss anything that's coming up, because all of those webinars will eventually live on my YouTube channel. So check that out when you've got a minute. Again, putting the pieces of online teaching together is really important. So having that diversified schedule, for me, that's what Allschool provides, is an early morning, high dollar amount of teaching. To go into a little more detail, I teach a group class, a show and tell public speaking group class. I charge $12 per learner. Usually there are 5 or 6 students in there. I have it set as at max 6 students. And it's a very low prep class for me, which I appreciate. And so that's about $54 every week. I only teach that once a week on Mondays. And then the rest of the week, my Allschool classes are one-on-one ESL classes. So private tutoring. I use ESL Pals, which is, again, one of the companies that I'm an ambassador for. So if that's something that you are interested in, they have a free lesson library, which is kind of awesome. So you can go in there, eslpals.com, check out that library and take what you need. When your teaching load kind of gets a little heavier and you're looking for more support in terms of lessons, and you're ready to subscribe, on the checkout page, you can choose my name from the drop down. I am Melissa Muir, and so that helps me out as well. But ESL Pals is something that I use. It keeps my planning time way down so that I can teach that many one-on-one classes, and the planning is like very, very quick. I can choose units, and then I always supplement the 4th class. Each unit is about 3 for the kids' units, 3 classes, and then the 4th class, I always do a book that kind of rounds out the unit. Okay, any books for online one-on-one or group classes? Books meaning curriculum, I think is what you're saying. I use ESL Pals. I have a few other like ebook options, reading A to Z, stuff like that. I also use my own books, the books that my family owns. I use an app called V Flat, the V as in Victor, V Flat app. And I make that into a nice PDF that I can put on screen and show my students. Again, not sharing, not trying to violate copyright here, but the idea is to then be able to show what we're reading or whatever, but not have like the clumsy, hi, can you see what I'm holding up? Story time kind of vibe happening. So Hamza, I think what you may be referring to as curriculum, and I use ESL Pals. It's fantastic for adults and kids and conversation and business and grammar. It's all in there. For the older, like teenagers that I teach, I use ESL Pal stuff. And they all come with like videos, like YouTube videos, BBC videos, Vox, lots of great relevant content in there that doesn't feel kiddie, doesn't feel too young. And so a lot of my older students really appreciate that, which is nice. Hey, Kinga. Hey, Olivia. Good to have you guys here. Kinga, we shouted out to you earlier. A couple people were asking how to get started from scratch And while I did say there were some platforms, there are a couple that that you would need to then do your own external marketing. And Xiaohongshu is a great one. Create and Funnel is where you can do that. So check them out. But for curriculum, I would say ESL Pals is a really great option. There are lots. I don't know that I can recommend them because I've never used them, to be honest. So I really like ESL Pals. It's PDF based, so I'm not depending on somebody else's server, which I find to be really important because I don't want to be up a creek right when class is about to start and the server is down. So I really like that I can download everything to my trusty dusty, oh, you can't see it, my little external hard drive over here, have it all there, lives over there, and it doesn't clog up my computer or my bandwidth when I'm pulling from another website. So it's actually another YouTube video that is already in the works, my teaching tech tools, what's in my tech bag. And so I'll be sharing that pretty soon here, but I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. So good to see each of you guys, ESL Pals. I'll put it in the comment here. ESLPals.com. There we go. And so that's it. There we go. So if you've got any final questions, now is the time to ask them. We're going to go ahead and wrap this buddy up. But this will be on my YouTube channel. So if you have not yet subscribed, head over there, please, to Melissa is Teaching on YouTube. That is the place where all of this good content is living. And it's a good, resource. I try to put things up there that I would ask and want to know if I were starting out. So hope that is helpful to you. And if you've got any questions, go ahead and leave them here. I guess that's it. We'll go ahead and end things here, everybody. I hope you have a lovely afternoon. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my coffee. But glad you guys are here, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Goodbye, goodbye.